DJ Scaife told us he was told by Butch Barry he will be at left tackle. Have you guys moved Tommy Kennedy to the interior? We've seen him with some backup center duties and right tackle. How does that look to you at this point?
We're bouncing around with guys in wherever we think they can do best, because obviously with our offensive staff being new, we're learning more about what our guys can do and what they can't do. So whether it's Coach Barry or any other spot, we're trying to put everybody in the best position to succeed.
What are your impressions, I guess, of Kennedy? Because obviously he's a grad transfer, a guy that I guess all of us sort of looked at and thought, okay, he probably could step right in and go into the starting lineup. But what are you sort of seeing are some of his challenges, and where do you think ultimately he can help you?
If we know the answer to the second part of that question yet, in terms of where he'll eventually feature, what he's learning, to be honest, what a lot of them are learning is just the different tempo of our practice, going up against better players than he's probably gone up against at any point in his career, and understanding that when Coach Barry's teaching you these techniques, you better be on point with them, because you need him to go against the guys that we're going against on our defensive front. So, but the good thing about Tommy is he's a willing learner, and right now he's just trying, like all of them, he's just trying to get better every day.
Manny, Cam talked a little, he was one of those guys that came on late in the year. How much has he been able to build on that and just, come into the spring with that confidence of what he did for you guys last year?
So I think what he took out of last year is he knows physically that he can play at this level. Now what we've done with him and everyone else is we take him out of their comfort zone, because mentally, they're all learning from scratch again. And we are being persistent as coaches, is that we are throwing this at him at a rapid speed, and it is intense, and the learning is intense. And Cam and all those guys are fighting to keep up. And we're trying to separate this. I'm going a little bit off the Cam question here. We're trying to separate the guys that really like football from the guys that really love football, and that's why I love what our staff is doing. They're being very, very demanding of our players, not just physically, not just the energy, which everybody can feel, but mentally. There's a lot to learn, and ultimately we'll see who's got the ability to keep up.
With Greg Rousseau, has he regained what he had last spring since the ankle? What have you seen there? And Jafari Harvey as well, Manny, early.
Greg hasn't missed a step, he's a very talented young man, tries to do everything exactly the way he's coached to do it, and with his length, he's a problem to block. He's a hard guy to get your hands on. Jafari, you have to remind yourself that the guy should be sitting in English 4 class right now, because he has really done some nice things coming out here early on. He's a guy that, we couldn't believe in recruiting, that there weren't more people busting down his door to try to get him. So we're really thankful that he's here, and he's shown us nothing in the first few days of practice to make us off that opinion.
Raw skills wise, just your thoughts on Tate and what he can do as far as arm strength, accuracy, all those things.
Well, yeah, Tate, he can make all the throws. He's got good zip on his ball, and then from a physical standpoint, he gives you an element with his legs. Either A, on design quarterback runs, or B, on improvisation that makes a defense have to defend 2 plays. So there's no doubt that he's got good skills. All of our quarterbacks are all, again, being held to a ridiculously high standard by Coach Enos in terms of how they take a drop, how they maneuver in the pocket, where their eye progression should be. So all of that is new for all those guys, and so we wouldn't expect any of those guys to be perfect at it. Just 4 or 5 days in, but they're learning. It's been a good competition.
And not knowing who it's going to be, how much can an offense change depending on which guy's in there, like the skill set of each guy?
Well, that's why one of the major objectives of spring practice was find out what we can do, find out who our best players are, and find out what they can do. And then once you find out what they can do, we have enough, like everyone does, like we do on defense. We have enough to feature the guys that we need to feature, and that's where you can always sort of start to steer your style of play schematically to suit the needs and the skill set of the guys that you got.
Manny, I know the standard answer with transfers obviously is we're open to help at any position, but offensive line in particular, if you don't see what you want to see, you and Butch and Dan from this group, is there a realistic likelihood of going outside and looking for veteran help this, in April, May, June?
Only if it's the right guy, though, right? It has to be a guy that can improve our football team that's better than what we have. But we were aware that we felt like there would be another little bump of transfer activity after spring practice, and there will be some more guys that'll be available. And so, to me, it's sometimes it's a best available, who's out there that you think can help improve our. You can't bring in a transfer that you don't think is going to improve your football team, either because of that they're having a very special skill set that maybe you don't have, or just because your depth just really dictates that you got to bring guys in. And right now it'd be too early to say for sure we have to bring a guy at this particular position.
How about at cornerback? Obviously, you got 2 young guys coming in now in the fall, but is there enough bodies? I mean, you obviously moved Frierson over to safety and made some moves with cornerback.
Yeah, it's not a matter of having enough bodies that can play.
Right.
Enough bodies that can play. So that's why this is a great spring for Al Blades and for DJ Ivey and for Nigel Bethel. And the neat thing is all of those guys so far in the first couple of days have flashed and done some good things. But are you that guy? Mm-hmm. Are you the guy that's got to do it down for down? But going back, no one would have thought that about Michael Jackson 3 years ago, and he became one of the top corners in the ACC. So if they trust the coaching they're getting from Mike Rump and just trust the defensive scheme, then all of a sudden those guys will find out that the opportunities there to make plays.
So 2 more guys.
Man, how is Jaron Williams looking? How's he progressing now specifically?
Jaron has arm talent. Jaron can make throws. In terms of getting better, in terms of commanding the huddle and understanding what's going on. That's just the deal. I mean, Coach Enos is really demanding and really wants them to do it exactly right. And when they come out here and sometimes they think they know, then they don't know. So again, like I said, once those guys become more comfortable in terms of our pass concepts, then I think some of the natural talent will start to really show.
I know it's early to ask this, but when would you like to name a starting quarterback? Some people do it after the spring, some people wait till a week before the first game. What's your philosophy on that?
To me, when it's obvious. To me, if you have a guy, you want that guy to be the starting quarterback because you want everyone in the locker room to know. If you don't have a guy, if you're not sure who the guy is, then you got to battle it out. So to me, it's not a, there's no craftiness of trying to hold it in. If we knew today, we'd announce it today. But like I said, I like what we have going on right now, and I think it puts, again, one of the big themes of the spring, out of your comfort zone, everybody on edge, no one really comfortable with anything, and let's see who responds in the chaos.